Welcome to another episode of Rude Behavior. We're your hosts, Diego Luna and Adrian Delgado. This is episode 14, and we have two wonderful guests with us today. We have our friend and beautiful DJ, Mr. Admiral Atlas.
Beautiful. What up? Beautiful.
Beautiful, baby.
Kid Gorgeous.
And then over here we got the motherfucking Swanton Bomb West. Big Daddy West from Drop
Wesley.
the Mic podcast.
The
Sitting here
Shamer.
with us today.
The Shamer?
Thanks for having me.
I just called him the Shamer.
The Shamer.
Inside joke.
That's his wrestler name once he becomes a wrestler.
And for those that don't know who Admiral Atlas is, he does music for Drop the Mic, and he does music also for us. And he's also doing music for a lot of hip-hop artists here in San Diego.
I try.
But before we get into the hip-hop thing, we want to see the origins of Admiral Atlas and where he came from.
Jeez. So this is the point where I've been dreading it. So essentially how I came up with the name Admiral Atlas, I just wanted to keep it Admiral, like I'm the commander of my army or my defense mechanism, whether it's making music, doing art, doing fucking spoken word, or fucking trying to rhyme, or doing whatever. I always realize that you're the sole commander of what you do, so I wanted to make it Admiral. Atlas in the sense of I have all the weight of the world on my shoulders, so ironically, Atlas was an admiral during like a fucking mythological war.
It's like Greek mythology, right?
Yeah, he's a Greek character, mythos character. But long story short, Admiral Atlas, double A. It's kind of easy to remember. I started playing music. I started off playing bass guitar when I was like 13, 12 years old. Transitioned into being a punk rock straight edge kid. Sold out, broke edge, started doing, it wasn't for a girl, but it was about a girl, so I guess I sacrificed it for that.
Song as old as rhyme.
Man, that's a whole new podcast right there. Started doing more of like the trip hop stuff. I was always into like electronica music, so the transition was kind of like natural. I grew up during the 90s listening to a lot of like hip hop, like fucking Tupac and Biggie and gangsta rap and shit like that. So it was always in my roots, always there. I never fucking turned my back on that shit, even listening to all the punk stuff and being hardcore and shit. But I slowly got back into it. I did it for a while in like the Apache One Tribe, which is like a hip hop trip hop group where I DJ'd with a live drummer, live bassist, a live vocalist, and we did that for a couple years. When was that, Wes? Like 2014, 15?
I think it was a little...
13?
Yeah, 13, 14.
I want to say 2013 or 14. And then that broke up, and then I stopped for doing music completely for like a year or two, and then just recently resurfaced like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's been kind of crazy, man, up and down. It's been an experience, but it's fun. It's always fun to create. You meet a lot of different people, and a lot of people just gimme. They want a lot from you. But
I mean, you do some of the I want to say some of the best beats I've heard in a while.
Dang, thanks, man.
And that's like coming from somebody that's like I want to say really admires a lot of different artists and stuff. What you do is like an artistry.
Thanks, man.
To me, at least. I don't want to say anybody else's opinion, but
I try. I try to do a lot of like the older boom bap 90s type stuff where it's kind of like I always tell people my main influences are like DJ Shadow, DJ Lethal from fucking Limp Bizkit, a lot of the stuff that the Beastie Boys did, because all that stuff, I was a teenager when it came out, so that's what I grabbed onto. ironically, I should have been a cholo more than anything. So I kind of grabbed on to the grunge and the fucking new like rap rock.
Metal.
Yeah, like the new metal, like the Slipknot. Oh, I fucking love Slipknot. Like their DJ 01, like that type of stuff. I always gravitated more to. So I wanted to make more of that type of stuff than just being like a bassist or, you know, singing in a hardcore band or something like that. I wanted to focus more on like a trip hop aspect.
Yeah.
For people who think that making beats or, you know, producing something like this might just be making music with computers and try to kind of discredit it, how do you feel about that, and what do you think about yourself as a musician that way?
That's a, you know what? That's a very good question. I used to be that guy. I used to hella be that guy where I was like, because I come from an instrument playing background where I used to say, well, I didn't understand it. I would protest it more than anything. I used to not agree with Serato because I used to say, what the fuck is the point of you calling yourself a DJ when you can just get anything played off of the record? But over time, I learned to respect it. And as I used to say, I hate people. Why would I want to go see somebody just standing on stage pressing buttons? Like, I would rather watch a whole fucking band or something, you know.
Right.
I want to feel that energy. I slowly started to understand. I only recently got this. For those who don't know, I have a SP404A, which is basically a sequencer, programmer, sampler, everything all in one. Before I didn't have this, I would just actually run everything on a digital 8-track, and I would run the sample. I would make the drums on a drum machine. I would make the bass line with an actual bass, or I would collab with Wesley or whoever and get samples from them. So I learned I was doing everything that you can do on the SP, but I was just doing it separate. So I guess what I was trying to say, I kind of respected the fact that when you press the button, you kind of have to, you have to make the sample. You have to search for it. You have to slowly put it together. So I respect the process now. Before, I used to be the biggest shit talker on someone that was just going to press a button on a box. I didn't like that. I'd rather you just make the sample or fucking DJ it out. And that's why I try to keep, I try to put scratches or I try to collab with somebody other than just pressing the button. So I do get that. And I used to be so against it, but I'm a button pusher now. I didn't sell out, son. I bought in.
But that's, you gotta have an ear for certain shit. Like,
Yeah.
like a lot of your samples, I really appreciate. This motherfucker got a sample of a Taco Bell order and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, to hear something in that is crazy.
I try to keep it always just random as fuck, and it's funny because people will notice it and they're like, "What? How did you think?" I just thought I just wanted to try it out.
It's like you can't explain how you find certain stuff because it's just you, and you can't really just tell people like, oh, like this is the process. It's just your mind doesn't work that way. Your mind is just like I just do it as it comes, and that's why I said I feel you're an artistry when it comes to that type of stuff because I have been around especially DJs and stuff that do their own stuff like do guitar, do bass, do drums and stuff. And they just sample all that, and that's it's for people to want to discredit that. It's kind of the most fucked up thing to do because those people actually, probably I wouldn't say work harder, but probably they do double jobs. Like
they're creating their own sample,
Yeah.
and that's what before I didn't understand. I just thought like, oh, it's already programmed on there, and they're just pressing the button. But I mean, I in my old years, I just fucking. Try to become more open-minded and shit. So once I saw it from my own eyes, I saw somebody actually playing it and stuff and using it. So I was like, man, I could probably do that. And then I slowly started watching all kinds of YouTube videos and going to actual shows. I do want to say that getting the SP404 kind of validated the work in the sense that people got to see how I did it. Before, all they would just know is I made the beat, and they would ask me, well, like, how would you make it? And I would have to explain to them. now they can actually see me doing it, and I can work with an artist and, you know, kind of freely do whatever they ask me if I'm working with them, or vice versa. If I want to just do it myself and do something, it's easier. So getting the SP was kind of like, hey, I can play with the big boys now. You know, I didn't feel like I was able to do that before because they just not discredited the work, but just kind of seen it as that guy's just. How do you almost like, how do we know you made that? Like, where'd you get that from?
Yeah.
Now they can actually see proof of me doing it. Shit. Yeah. So that was another reason why I do a lot of the videos, to show people like, hey, I'm actually doing it. You know.
Mm.
So.
It's kind of like it sucks that a piece of hardware has to validate you, but it be that way sometimes.
It does, and also it just completely changed the way I sound, like sample wise and timing and everything. It just brought a different, like that unique glitchy sound to it, so it sounds a little bit different. I still try to keep it simple as far as like, you know, the sample and like a sample and a drum that I'll make and like a bass line or something. But as far as like the glitchiness of the SP, I feel like a lot of people take it overboard, and I don't enjoy it all that much, but I'm slowly learning to incorporate it a little bit more. But I like to use it just as a sampler and run them together, you know, like I don't know what the word is called, maybe like a sequencer. But as far as like the effects, like post effects, I try to keep it like minimal, you know. Mm-hmm. If I'm doing something specifically like that, I'll do it. But a lot of the people that use the SP, it's notorious for like glitch core, or like trip hop stuff that's real glitchy, where you can't you can catch a vibe to it, but it's just different, you know.
Yeah,
it's not something that's
like
run of the mill.
Acquired taste.
It's an acquired taste. Like, I love it, I like it, but I don't want to do that right now. I'll get there. One day I'll get there.
Speaking of one day, what in all of this? What is your where do you see yourself going with this? Is there a goal in this? Are you just making music for fun right now? Do you see yourself kind of producing for bigger acts one day? Like, what?
All the above. As far as so when the whole COVID thing hit, I felt like I had a lot of time in my hands, and it was the right time. I had a little bit of money, kind of. Fucking EDD bullshit. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Finesse, baby.
I was waiting for that shit, so I had basically got laid off of work, and I felt like it was the right time to get the SP, because I wanted to take it a little bit more serious as far as working. I already do work with a certain amount of individuals, but I wanted to become more versatile with molding to what the people wanted as far as locally in San Diego. Shout out to like the Spooky Gang and like all those guys, and like Goomson and like fucking Mike Mackey, all those guys. I felt like, you know, Nemi, Indian K, I wanted to try to do something to cater to them, because I already felt like I was already doing something for myself, and I had like an excess of beats, so I wanted to not only keep it boom bap, I wanted to try to work with them too. So I kind of molded and changed my styles here and there to do something with the local artists. So I see myself in the future working with as many people that want to work with me, first off, and possibly doing this as a profession, low key. And when I become old in the future, I want to be I want to work musical score for movies. I really want to do music for movies, whether it's working with somebody, collabing with somebody, or doing it myself, but low-key composing music, not just sampling and doing it, because I think that's where my heart has always been, is music for movies. I love cinematic orchestra. I don't know if you guys ever heard cinematic orchestra.
Absolutely.
I fucking love cinematic orchestra. That type of music where you can seriously take shrooms and listen to it and see the music. That's what my heart has always been. Even before I